Hi, my name is Mara Fulse. I am also known as Sea Creek on itch.io. It's my name for music and for my games. I thought it would be kind of fun to just go through all of the games that I've made in Bitsy 3D and kind of talk about them and play them. Essentially, do a full playthrough and then talk. And while I'm doing that, talk a little bit about the process of making them and stuff. Just for posterity, because I know not everybody has access to actually playing video games, keyboards and such. So the first game that I made in Bitsy 3D was going to be an episodic thing. It's called Terranauts. Um, Terranauts Episode 1, Prepare for Float Off, an episodic tale of wonder. This is just a single screen game, and so kind of the idea was that it was going to be an interactive webcomic. And so there are some interesting things about this. Bitsy 3D is a program that takes the 2D tile-based game creation tool Bitsy, which is super accessible and allows you to make games in 3D in it. And so one of the things that means is that even though it looks like we're in a normal walking simulator, it's actually tile-based. And so we can only go, in a tile formation, which really confuses some folks. And I've learned to put controls in there for people. Finn Pikeman. Today we make history. I've been training all my life for this moment, 3 whole weeks. So we can talk to people. Conservative. Wow, you're an agent of the trench state, Finn Pikeman. We've got this one. Starstruck. Wow, you're so cool, Finn Pikeman. Commander Horse. Okay, now listen, Finn. The whole bay is watching. Don't screw this one up. And we've got our compatriots here. Jack Smelt. Hey, buddy, ready to get this show on the stream? And we've got our other friend here. Anchovy. Captain Pikeman, glad you swam up on time. And yeah, this is just a single screen game, no bells and whistles except for kind of these wheels are kind of cool looking. The way that I did this over here is there are 3 little boxes that you collect as items, and they are the dialogue. Dear Neptune, she's a beaut, ain't she? Top of the line. Then you go in, and that's the end of the game. So once I was done with that, I decided to keep doing my one screen thing, but this time we kind of advanced somewhat, and so this is Terranauts Episode 2. At this point I started putting controls, at least in the description. Finn Pikeman. Okay, Jack, we're coming into some rough terrain. Activate the neutralizer. You got it, boss. And so as you can see, we've got a lot more elevation here. So we're neutralizing 83, 86, 100%. So that almost kind of gameplay. Neutralizing. So we've got to get through these. Okay. Anchovy. Looks to be a way up, Captain. Think Jack here can take the heat? Finn Pikeman. You watch yourself there, Missy. Jack can handle anything. And then we have a new feature here. Ooh, going up. That's fun. Jack Smelt. Yes, sir. Smooth sailing. So here we have this ship, which I was kind of proud of when it first came out. Rotating these things here. You can actually look into the windows of the ship. Dear Neptune, says Finn Pikeman. Jack Smelt. Avert your eyes, Anne. Anchovy. I'm not a child, Jack. We fought in... Oh, shit! Finn Pikeman. Yep, that there is the body of Sergeant Dean. He went belly up with the ship. We swim on so that his sacrifice may not be in vain. So yeah. You can see kind of this ship here. Incredible. I never thought I'd lay eyes on her again. Anchovy. The Trident won. She's so decayed. Jack Smelt. No wonder she never came back. What kind of Green Guild mechanic thought up this design? Finn Pikeman. Jack, be respectful. Okay, and so we have more of these to neutralize. Up, up and up and up. So here we have another kind of use of the basic objects. A strange rock, anchovy. It's a mysterious material often found near the surface. Its composition seems fish-made, but it would require air-based manufacture. Jack smelled. I got a buddy who parks his fishmobile in front of one of these. Yeah, it's just one of those parking barriers. Computer neutralizing. As you can see, as we go, you can kind of see below you. And so we're really doing the most that we can with a single screen. See, the thing about Bitsy 3D is it allows for only 16 by 16 tiles. You can go as high up as you want, but only 16 by 16 tiles. Here's Finn Pikeman. Interesting. Seems to be some kind of devious trap. Anchovy. Captain, that's a piece of plastic. It's a foreign material that originates from the surface. We think it might be the excrement of some land fish species. Jack smelled. Ah, gross. Finn Pikeman. Where do you eggheads learn this nonsense? Yeah, it is a can ring. So we can kind of navigate around this. Oh, I guess we can. Okay, up and up. This is kind of an interesting object. It goes way up into the sky. Finn Pikeman. Okay, Dr. Ann, what's your read on whatever the hell this is? Dr. Anchovy. Beats me. But yeah, an interesting thing about this is that I've managed to displace a piece of grass so that it renders itself on top of this tile, even though you can only place one thing on a tile. Anyway, Finn Pikeman. Well, this is it, folks. Let's pray to Neptune. This hunk of junk works. Jack smelt. Respectfully, Captain, I have more faith in her than Neptune or any other god. Anchovy. Just drive. And that's the end of the game. This is one gentle splash for fish, and one giant plunge for fish kind. You bastard. End episode. So yeah, that was Terranauts. I was going to make something new, and a third one, obviously, on the surface, but I just kind of got uninspired by the end of that. Couldn't think of anything to do, and so I took a pretty long break and eventually made, to get myself back into a game called Behold a Parking Garage, which is a little silly. This is mainly just me wanting to make the environment of a parking garage, but it was actually mostly a technical achievement. So we start out on the outside of our car here, and as you can see, this car is made out of a bunch of stuff. So at Bitsy 3D, this should not be possible, essentially, like with normal stuff, right? So what I've done is I have made 5 different assets that are planes. I have displaced them from up there onto the car to make texturing. Yeah. Locked my keys in the car. And you can see I've just kind of copied and pasted this one with a new color. I think I can see a candy bar in there. If you go over here, you can look through the window. Wow, the outside world. How I long to be free. Then there's a little Coke over here. I'll have to ration this soda. You can see we kind of have another example of displacement here to create a texture on only one side of a block. We have this. Oh god, it's broken. However will we get across? Oh well, guess I'm never leaving this godforsaken place. And yeah, it was just kind of a simple thing. But I've always been fascinated by liminal spaces, like parking garages. And yeah. So that's a simple one, that didn't take me too long. I think the car really is the main thing, like everything that makes that unique is already on the front page. And by then I was starting to think a little harder about what I was making. I was wanting to try and see if I could make curvature, essentially. What are the limits of this? And so I started by making a bunch of curvature. These are tiles that are really meticulously shifted. And as you can see, there's like some weird jittering, and that's because the engine really doesn't like doing what it's doing right now. Hi, Mara here. I'm evaluating irregularly shaped environments in Bitsy 3D. You can only move in cardinal directions on an invisible grid. When I use a free camera and obscure that grid visually, I ultimately confuse you. This results in more work for me. Just these simple walls require 26 unique tiles, but ultimately you can't navigate as naturally. Feel how icky it is to navigate these curved rooms behind us. Then step into the labyrinth next to me. Okay. So yeah, the reason this is icky is because, oh wow, you can just go straight through this. It just doesn't feel good. It probably looks normal, but as you can see, that's how we navigate. And so you can't navigate into this triangle here. There really are a lot of barriers to Bitsy 3D. See the clipping here. But it's fun to make games in a limited environment. This also shows you that the pixelation of my games is a artistic choice and not a engine choice, and I think it makes sense most of the time. But yeah, it's way easier to navigate around this because you can actually see the grid through the walls. Feels a lot less weird, right? The barriers to your movement actually line up with where it looks like you can move, yeah. Now this little maze is less interesting, but there are so many ways to make an environment like this look much more open, without making you think you can move outside of its bounds. If you're looking to take things to the next level, but still want tile-based 3D modeling and an intuitive no-code engine, I've been thinking about moving to Crocodile 3D for visuals and Adventure Creator for an engine. But that's a combined $110, so for now I recommend, as always, working within the limits of our tools, not against them. And yeah, I didn't start using either of these tools really, and I continued on. I continued on eventually with a sip of water there, with a game called Lookout Beyond, which is really definitely the most ambitious game I've ever made. It took me 2 weeks to make it. You can see a little bit of that pride, I suppose, in the page here, which has actual screenshots. I was really inspired by, specifically, Ocarina of Time with this game. I love the way that low-poly games needed to make interior spaces because of draw distance limitations, but they wanted exterior spaces, and so they would essentially paint walls to look like trees and such. And because of the 16 by 16 limiter on Bitsy 3D, I found that to be a really good strategy myself. And so here you can see we are kind of in a Lost Woods type of situation with the trees and the cliffs. What's this? Why go back? I wonder why we went through in the first place. And here you can see my first 3D character model. This being, of course, just a cube that I have put a bunch of assets onto, which are hidden in the floor up there, and have been switched here. You can also see that I've created animations for this arm, which kind of makes it look like this is a 3D object which is animating. But yeah, his name is Vim. Hello, friend. I know we've just met, but I noticed you have feet. Could you get me some cooling rocks from the stream? I'm running quite hot. Okay, so Vim's gonna want some rocks. Hello, friend. Oh yeah, okay. So Vim's gonna want some rocks, and you can see here that there's a lot of space. It kind of seems more spacious than it used to feel. And we go through little caves to get to the next part of the place. And there's a convincing illusion that, that room is on the other side. So here we have another example. This is a really pretty complicated thing for Bitsy 3D, this little scene. So we're gathering rocks, of course, for Vim. And, these rocks are 3D models, Really, all of this is made out of quite a lot of assets, used in some unique ways. You found a rock, so we're going to take all these rocks. A notable thing about this is you can see, the river kind of going off into the distance, and we kind of obscure the fact that the river can't actually go that far. Yeah. Here's a door with some 3D graphics. The gate is jammed. Well, damn. Yeah, so let's get back to Vim here. Hello, friend. You got them. Oh, that's nice. I'll give you a tip. The gate to the meadow is jammed. If you jiggle the squimbo to the right, it'll open up. Okay, so we need to jiggle that squimbo. As you can see at the end of there, sometimes there are black boxes in my dialogue, and that is because of the complexity of the dialogue system. I couldn't figure that one out. Yeah. You jiggle the squimbo, and we kind of open up into this much bigger space, a hub world of sorts, because we can go back, We can go into this house, or we can go over there. Yeah, so nothing over here, but there is a window over here. Can we look through it? But it's rude to snoop. Too bad. What is that? Let's look at this. Real Retreat, home of the lethal loach. Okay, so kind of a fishing spot. Maybe we just go in there first and we'll go over there before that. Here we have a pretty cool 3D model. This is, I forget her name, Val? This is Val. She looks pretty good, all things considered. Oh, hi. Haven't seen you around before. Welcome to the Real Retreat. If you have a rod, go wild. Otherwise, you can always talk to Van. He has lots of stories about the lethal loach. So yeah, as you can see, this is literally the watering hole, or sorry, the fishing hole from Ocarina of Time that I have recreated here. I think it looks pretty good, especially this thing over here, kind of a 3D water effect. You can kind of see the same Ocarina of Time idea, right, of things going off into the distance and trying to suggest to the player of something further and further away without actually having to do it, and I've always really, really loved that. So we have, of course, Van over here, who I really like Van because the way that I've made his feet do this thing is pretty complicated. This guy is made out of a ton of assets that are parent-child of each other. And the way I've done it is I have 4 legs, and I simply have an animation that makes the legs transparent on alternating frames, which is pretty simple, but, you know, not a lot of people are making anything in this engine, so. Ahoy there, I've got a fun fact if you like. The lethal loach is a tough deer to catch. The golden sinker is the only tool for her. Okay, okay. Oh, but I've gone on for too long. Thanks for listening. So this guy cycles through 2 more. He's got 2 more fun facts. I hear tale of a wondrous cavern below this place. I know an entrance must exist, but not of where. The stream to the south has endangered salamanders. I often worry that a tourist may take a stone. It's their last habitat, you know? So we have unfortunately destroyed the habitat of those salamanders by getting them his rocks. Anyway, we're going to go see what's going on over here. It doesn't seem like there's any more progression over there. Knock, knock. Vom, come in? So yeah, we have a little interior space here with our little TV and Vom over here. Yeah, little couch. I think this was the first area I actually made in this game. I like the TV a lot. It goes whoop, 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 whoop. And here's Vom, of course. Oh, you're blocking the TV. You still here? Well, okay, nice to meet you. You met Val, huh? Nice, nice, cute, right? Yeah, so he has different dialogue on if you've met Val or not. Sorry, we don't really know each other that way, huh? Yeah, not really. Anyway, could you get her contact info for me? She keeps telling me, but I don't have hands to write it down. Oh, thanks. So yeah, we're going to get the contact info. An interesting thing about this asset is he looks like he is a pentagon, which is impossible, but he's just clipping through, he's just a cube who's clipping through, and you know, it's little things like that that you have to do in this engine because you cannot actually make your own models too easily. Obviously, I could use a ton of assets and create models, and I don't know if that would even run. Oh, there's a bump in the floor here. Well, we will have to figure that out later. So, looks like we're going to need to go talk to Val. Hey. Oh, hey again. Oh, you know Vom? They're pretty cool, huh? Whoa, they want my number? Dang. I can't leave my station until work's over. We close early if someone catches the lethal loach. If you got the right gear, you might do it, please. So yeah, Val here wants us to catch the lethal loach. I believe in you, future loach legend. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to go back to Vom, I guess, and just tell him the bad news, right? Hey, Vom. Oh, you're back, huh? The lethal loach, huh? Yeah, she's a killer. Yeah, you're going to need a real piece of kit for that. Tell you what, take the exit behind the couch. You'll find out what you seek. Okay. Good thing we already looked there. Oh, there's a tunnel under the couch. So this is the bioluminescent cave area. I thought this one was kind of interesting. I'm not really happy with the way this turned out. That was kind of the last thing I did. But you have to kind of navigate in the dark here using the light of the bioluminescence glowing off of the river here. So you go all the way around, and I think what's not really communicated to the player is that you need to go all the way back around, and so, people make that mistake sometimes, and that's very annoying. I would redo that. Oh, but yeah, I think this is pretty cool. The model of the rod kind of standing in the distance here, and use your indicator of where to take it. You got the lunar rod. This ancient artifact has been passed down through generations of fishermen. Who knows what secrets it holds? And so yeah, we can kind of start the fishing game portion of this. If you look the right way, you might notice this little area. The crystal shimmers with the water's reflections. Looking closer, you see the twinkles of the bioluminescence from above. Cool thing about this is all of these face you, but they're offset, and so it's kind of my best attempt at trying to make a circular object. Okay, let's try to navigate out of here. Yeah, so you have to go through here for some reason. It doesn't make sense, frankly. So what does Mom have to say? Wow, the lunar rod. I remember when my father first revealed it to me. I haven't seen it in that time. Fishing isn't really my thing. Seeing it in your hands, though? I understand that your destiny lies in getting me those digits. Cool. So, now we're going to go off to Val and see what she has to say. Well, I guess we could try fishing. I've actually had playtesters do this. They try fishing, right? And it makes the most sense. You would bump into the lake to fish, but once that doesn't work, maybe you have some questions, right? Well, it doesn't work, so let's try to talk to Val. I believe in you, future Loach legend. Dear Vod, that really is the lunar rod. You may be able to catch the lethal Loach yet. All you need now is the siren's lure. Oh god, there's another thing to get. Van can tell you more about that. Okay, so we're going to go over to Van. You. Yeah, so this is when the player starts talking. Nah, I'm good. What? No, yeah, I think I'm done. Here's the ancient whatever. I'm gonna head out. Like, through the portal? Have a good one. Yeah, so essentially this game is setting you up to start playing it, and then you just decide to bail. How will I ever unite with my love Vom? The power of the lunar... I'm just trying to work on myself right now. So yeah, I guess it's kind of... part of it is that I didn't want to complete the game, and I had already been working for 3 weeks at this point, and I thought it, maybe a fun way to do that would be to do a commentary on fetch quests and, like, free will and stuff. You can't leave. You haven't even seen the underwater city of sirens. They guard the siren lure. Or what about the... Yeah, I gotta go. You can't leave. You haven't even seen the power of the lunar rod. At night it gleams in a swirl of light which attracts the lethal Loach. Or what about the... Yeah, I gotta go. You can't leave. You haven't even seen the tasteful yet tragic romance between Vom and Val. Their love transcends the ancient curse placed upon the Bowman race, resulting in a climactic final scene which Rock Paper Shotgun called a revolution in interactive storytelling. Or what about the... Yeah, I gotta go. So yeah, I imagine most people don't see that. Most people don't think to talk to Van, but, it's fun to put in there. Now we can talk to Vom. Honestly, a lot of... I've had at least one playtester go straight for the portal and not talk to anyone, but... oh, you're back, huh? Well met, friend. How goes your hunt for the Loach? Yeah, I just kind of lost momentum. Oh, I don't really know what to say. It's cool. Nice meeting you. Think I'm gonna head out. Back to the weird portal I came in through. Fuck. Okay, bye, I guess. And we head on our way out. Yep. R.I.P. the salamanders, of course. Oh, what does Vom have to say? Or Vim, rather. Hello, friend. Oh, you're back already? There's no way you already went through the underwater city of sirens, or like the... Yeah, honestly, I heard about the siren lure, and it just sounds like a lot of work. I don't mean to mess you up with your setup and stuff. I'm just tired. Wow, well, thanks for giving it a shot. You're not mad? Of course not. I'm glad you're listening to your body and mind. Hope you get some rest on the other side. So yeah, I kind of talk about the underwater city of sirens here as well, just in case you didn't talk about it with the van. And yeah, we go through the portal. But before you enter the portal, Vim calls out. I always feel bad about being revealed as the villain of the story, tricking you into driving the salamanders to extinction and all. Anyway, bye. And yeah, that is Lookout Beyond. Definitely my most ambitious project that I've ever done. I really love it. I love the coloring. I love, yeah, there's definitely things that could be improved, but as far as kind of a swan song to Bitsy 3D, I think it works really well. I didn't really know where to go from here. I sent the game over to the person who made Bitsy 3D, who is Aloelazoe, as well as Aurysystem, who made the color version. I really, really recommend that you check it out. It's an incredible engine. If you can deal with the jank, then you don't have to code, and that's fantastic. And yeah, I made a couple other things. This one is called Autobiographical Statement. I made this one in about 40 minutes for an application to a cooperative that I live at. And I decided to put, this one does not use the mouse, it actually uses just keyboard, because I wanted to make it super easy for whoever was going to play it. And I include instructions on how to use Bitsy 3D. One of them is that you have to bump into objects to interact with them. There's no interact button. So yeah, you can kind of see that we have a 3D dungeon crawler type of thing going on here. You are trapped in these walls. It is comfortable here, but there is no room for growth. Sometimes you like to take from these waters, learn something about the outside. You hear they come from far away. Yeah. As you can see, this is kind of one of these kinds of sprites. There we go. When things are loud here, it is sudden. This guardian, usually silent, stands shrieking in realization that you will leave. Yeah. Yeah, this is a really simple one, just a very short. You've never turned this corner before, but it is obvious now that you must. And then you see this, kind of pretty use of color. I didn't really do too much here, but I wanted to put in a little something special, and so I created this big light ray. Good call. You feel like it's about time to move on. And yeah, that's really it. I didn't want to make it too long. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. Just a fun little thing. But then fairly recently, let me see how long it's been, 4 months ago, I decided to make another game just for fun. And this one was kind of inspired by Majora's Mask, and that is a sequel to Lookout Beyond, but takes a darker tone and reuses characters, mainly reuses assets and puts them into a darker story. A thing that I do like about this one, yeah, I put in a full explanation here of how to use Bitsy 3D for people. A thing that I do like about this one is that there is kind of gameplay, and I use a new technique. You kind of see this hole up here. We've got this whole little world to explore, and you can see that these are assets that have been recolored, essentially. Who's this? I am the keeper. If ever you hope for escape from this wretched hovel, you must dig with the rest. You will know when the task is done, that I assure. Okay. Cool. What about over here? The door is bound by a heavy padlock. Okay, so they need me to dig. That's what they said. So if we try to dig into these, our fingernails rip as you try in vain to dig by hand. And that's what you're going to see with all of these. You can walk through these. You're essentially picking up items, invisible items inside of these to have this dialogue with them. And that is what's here. So now we can talk to, I kind of like this overhang. We can talk to what looks like Val, but appears to be someone new. Her name is Oral. Please, let me rest. Take up the shovel. So Yeah, she's looking like she's having a bad time, but she's in kind of a. We've taken the same model and put her essentially sitting up in a bean, or not a bean bag, camping sack. I can't remember what these are called, but yeah. Then we can talk over here to what looks like them, but he's crying. Osk, I just can't do it anymore. Years of this. Here, take my shovel. You look foolish enough. And so here's the shovel, but really unique thing about the shovel is in order to change the environment in Bitsy 3D, you essentially just have to copy the entire room and then teleport the person to a new room in the exact same spot so that it looks seamless. So when we take the shovel, the handle feels smooth from centuries of use. We are suddenly transported to the exact same map, but you don't notice. And now that we have the shovel, these are new items. After hours of backbreaking work, the dirt reveals nothing. And now you can take them up. And you see that we've now dug a hole. And so what we're going to have to do is dig all of these. And so this is actually gameplay, which is interesting, like environmental changing gameplay. You could do essentially a Metroidvania format, of keys and locks and all this, a little more easily with this technique, even though it is really, really hard in specifically Bitsy 3D because each layer, each tile that goes vertically is actually its own room. And so you're going to have to by hand recreate everything besides the base layer here. And so as you can see, these holes over here are the same hole as that hole. It must have been weeks, but you've lost track. Finally, your shovel breaks through the dirt, and you see the desert below. As always, you jump. And then, hey, we jumped out of the hole, and we're down here. It's an infinitely looping game, kind of trying to use the default looping nature of Bitsy to some kind of narrative purpose. So yeah, that is every game that I've ever made in Bitsy 3D. Hope it was interesting to watch and listen to. Mainly doing this for kind of an archival thing, if these games ever go down or they ever stop being able to work, we can still have video files, of course. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope that you play it. I'll leave it down in the description, and have a good day.